It's kinda unbelievable that the Toronto Raptors are still not getting the media attention they deserve. After beating the Minnesota Timberwolves with a score of 137-126 just a few days ago, what I saw on most sports channels is how D'Angelo Russell did on his debut for like 10 minutes and then just 2 to 3 minutes about the Toronto Raptors' 15-game winning streak. 15 games. That's something we should not ignore and instead give this team the respect they long deserve. We are officially at the midpoint of the season and there are a lot of reasons why the Raptors have been playing great. Because of their recent hot streak, the Raptors are currently 40-14 and second in the East right now, all while being riddled with injuries to each of its key players such as Pacal Siakam, Marc Gasol, and Lowry among many others, with 8 missing at least 10 of the first 54 games. Looking back at where the Raptors are last season, this year's team is off to a better start than the one with Kawhi Leonard and Danny Green on the roster. As we all know, the team won the championship last year with a superstar like Kawhi, so how are they doing this? How are they even better? In this video, I'll be sharing with you guys the 3 main reasons why the Toronto Raptors are so good this year and why they can possibly reach the NBA Finals again. I hope Raptors fans out there would love this video since this team really deserves some serious attention. Before anything else, what's up guys, it's Nico here. If you guys love seeing more videos like this, it would be great if you guys could like this video since it really helps in delivering more consistent content for all of you. If you want to see those hot takes or new content, don't forget to subscribe and turn on the post notifications bell so that you would be the first one to know when I post a new video. Anyway, let's move on to the topic at hand. The first reason why the Raptors are on a hot streak is because their offense and defense is amongst the best in the NBA. Let's first start off with their offense. When it comes to putting the ball in the basket, the Raptors are currently putting up 113.4 points per game, good for 9th in the whole league. When it comes to how Toronto plays, they have one of the league's fastest paces and logs the second most transition possessions per Synergy Sports. Most of their transition buckets result in open layups or early 3-point shots while the defense hasn't settled down yet. If you guys notice how Nick Nurse likes to run his offense, he would prefer it that the Raptors are in situations wherein they have the advantage whenever they bring down the ball. May it be a 5-on-4 fast break or a 5-on-3, they would prefer to run. Looking at the lineups that are usually on the floor, Nurse almost always uses lineups with 5 shooters. That's just the way he prefers it and it's been really effective. According to NBAstats.com, the only player he puts on the floor who doesn't shoot threes at a consistent basis is Rondé Hollis Jefferson. He played his way into the rotation and is now a staple in the lineups that Nick Nurse uses. As a team, the Raptors are shooting 38.7% from 3 and are good for 3rd in the NBA right now. If we look deeper, their offense goes beyond shooting 3-pointers and going for layups. Everything starts with the veterans committing to their roles and making sure they work perfectly in how the offense should be run. Let's start off with Marc Gasol. He is currently averaging career-low numbers virtually across the board, but he's transferred his game to remain an impactful offensive player at age 35 and instead choosing to facilitate and shooting from the perimeter. Lowry upped his scoring by at least 5 points after realizing that Pacal Siakam needs more help in that department. OG Anunoby always makes a simple play on offense and often takes the shot that makes the most sense. Siakam has now grown to the player no one expected him to be, while Freddie VanVleet is their Swiss Army knife who will run, defend, and play all out whenever he's on the court. And I even haven't talked about their bench yet, which I will later. Moving on to the underrated part of their team, which is defense, Toronto is known for blitzing and trapping other team stars, and they change strategies nearly every game depending on who the matchup is. The Raptors are now utilizing the zone more often than all, but 2 other teams after seeing it's what kept Stephen Curry in check last year in the finals. The Raptors are always on their heels with regards to proper positioning to anticipate opponents' plays, and because of that, they're only allowing 102.7 points per 100 possessions, which is good for 4th best in the NBA. When it comes to shutting down the league's best stars, Toronto has done that too. Joel Embiid's 0-point performance last month was all over the news. On one occasion, LeBron James had 13 points on 15 shots, Kawhi Leonard had 12 points on 11 shots, Damian Lillard, who has been a beast this whole year, struggled against the Raptors of all teams, and the list just goes on. The Raptors defense, they always make it a point for the other team's star player to have an off night and not keep them involved in the game as much as possible. Each of those stars that I just mentioned, plus other primary options, posted season low or near season low shot attempts against the Raptors. Teams struggle to score when they're not sure of what to expect from the defense. Overall, The Raptors are a well-disciplined team that has a roster that is both dangerous on offense and on defense. Props to the coaching staff for getting these guys ready every night, despite who's in the roster or not. The second reason why the Raptors are playing out of their minds is because of the incredible depth. Before the season started, many wondered whether or not the Raptors can be a top 5 team in the East, or if they could even make the playoffs at all, with Kawhi and Danny Green now in Los Angeles. That's how much the media is disrespecting this team. But as we all know, the answer to my question is a big yes. And that's because of the savvy moves made by the front office and player development to the guys they already have on the squad. As the new number 1 scoring option for the Raptors, Pacal Siakam has again made the leap in increasing his scoring average by over 7 points per game. He's now currently averaging 23.7 points, 7.5 rebounds, 3.4 assists, and 1 steal a night. After taking a step back last year for Kawhi, Kyle Lowry is back to his crafty scoring ways to become the team's second leading scorer. Now embracing his role as a full-time starter, Fred VanVleet has increased his production across the board with more playing time and building off from his momentum from last year. VanVleet is currently averaging 17.9 points, 6.9 assists, and 3.8 rebounds with only 2.5 turnovers, and 5th in the whole NBA in minutes with 35.9 a night. He has proved in every game that he deserves that max contract, all because of his overall positive effect when he's on the court. VanVleet will be an unrestricted free agent this coming summer, and league front office executives expect him to receive offers from $20 million annually up to his max of about $31 million. VanVleet is arguably the top point guard in the weak free agent class, and the Raptors front office need to be ready for the incoming offers. Serge Ibaka is a definition of consistency and someone who has been aging gracefully. At 30, he is still contributing and still as effective building off from last year. Like most of the guys here, he missed some games early in the season due to injury, but since he returned, Ibaka has been one of the reasons why the Raptors are on a roll. His all-around game has always been an asset to Toronto, as he can be used in various situations on offense and defense. Even though he has been juggling between the starting 5 and the bench role, that hasn't stopped Ibaka from showing his versatility and effectiveness on the court, thriving in whatever situation he is put in. Norman Powell has gone from good to great from beyond the arc to nearly double his scoring production. He is currently averaging 15.3 points, 3.9 rebounds, 1.7 assists, 40% from 3, all while missing 16 games so far. Powell is a complete player and a completely different one from last year. He has the ability to defend multiple positions, and impact games with his defensive ability has led to the combo guard turning a corner in his career. By working hard at both ends of the floor and not allowing missed shots and rough stretches to get in the way of his confidence, the Raptors need Powell at his very best by the time the playoffs start. OG Anunoby has been better this year and has grown enough for Nick Nurse to trust him in the starting 5. He's been a bit inconsistent this year, but that comes with the Raptors veterans taking the majority of the shots and touches. His time will eventually come. As for the very underrated bench, undrafted rookie Terrence Davis has looked like a top 10 pick and a super 6 man, especially while Powell is out with an injury. Rondé Hollis-Jefferson became their high-energy glue guy for the team, showing a willingness to do whatever is asked of him. Chris Boucher, Pat McCaw, and Matt Thomas have all stepped up whenever the team needs something from them. May it be a timely defense or a much-needed 3, this Raptors team is more special than you think. Depth is once again a strength and will be an advantage they need in the postseason. And lastly, the last reason why the Raptors are playing great basketball is because of Nick Nurse being a great basketball coach. As someone who have followed the Raptors on League Pass in every chance I get, I'm really happy that the NBA has recognized the efforts of Nick Nurse by rewarding him the Eastern Conference Coach of the Month award for January. That award was well deserved though. Nurse led the team to a 12-3 record in January, which is tied for most wins in a month by the franchise. A 9-1 record on the road kept the team afloat and pushed them all the way to the 2nd seed while suffering injuries to key players like Siakam, Gasol, and Fred VanVleet among many others. He knows how to get the most out of his roster, and that's something we shouldn't ignore. Avoiding a championship hangover and keeping his team winning at an elite pace despite the pieces they lost in the summer isn't just leading to Coach of the Month honors. It has Nurse contending for Coach of the Year as well, and my favorite to win it all. Overall, if you ask me, this Toronto Raptors team is really stacked and can make it into the NBA Finals. They may lack the quote-unquote superstar that every team has, but top to bottom, we can see that everyone is ready to contribute once you call their number. They have a healthy mix of veterans and young legs, but most importantly, there's not much pressure this year because this team knows and believes they can win it all. I'm excited for what the Raptors can do this year, and all we can do now is just wait and see what happens next. What do you guys think about the Toronto Raptors? How far do you think can they go this year in the playoffs? Let me know in the comment section below and I'll check every single one of them out. Don't forget to drop a like if you guys love what the Toronto Raptors are doing this year. Consider subscribing and clicking on the notification bell icon so that you will be the first one to know whenever I upload a new video. YouTube has been crazy lately and I need every one of you in order to keep this channel up and running. Again, this is Pacific Hoops. I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.